Right, so this is where I am with the presentation. The problem addressed, the aim, and the approach is of course what we always talk about, and how it's inspired by book. There's nothing in PDF. And then we go to Hypertext 21, and this is where we first introduce visual meta, saying the formatting is inspired by BibTeX, and this bit is actual BibTeX. Then I introduce how we use the concept of wrappers, starting and ending with these tags, and within that, such as headers and self-citation, they also have that. Look a little bit into the headers, which is basically the version number. Self-citation, explain that is what a user would need to cite the document, just as you would use in a reference manager today. And that is 100% actual BibTeX. It's also important to highlight the need for introductory text so anybody can understand what this is. And what ACM Hypertext did is mandatory hypertext, visual meta. There's also a good deal of optional, which I will then walk through and explain document type and all of this good stuff. And then we collapse or fold and look at what we can have outside. Separate page externals, for instance, content hashes in the beginning, and then after the visual meta we can have an errata page which has any problems. So instead of issuing a new document like in the olden days, you have a record, history of who has looked at the document, and also augmented view, which of course can include AR/VR positionings and space of any glossaries or other things that have been taken out. Current implementations. We start with looking at copy and paste as a citation. So what is new here is I explained this is the exact visual meta that is produced and carried across. It has this quote tag where the actual text that was selected is. And then we look at how this is produced by author into a PDF with visual meta that reader can interpret. These are the kinds of things it can do. We just saw copy a citation. So we're now going to have a look at fold, find, click on citation and endnote. This is in reader, PDF with visual meta. You can click on a citation to see the full reference information. Click on an endnote for the similar. And you can fold the document into an outline to jump around as you see fit. You can also select text and do Command F to see all the occurrences of that text in the document. You can choose to click on one to jump or Command F to go back out. That's important to show because the next bit is the interactive glossary. So here I show that I can define the word Hamilton with Command D, write what it is, and let's go full screen and let's go into the map view. If I now write Hamilton, nothing happens. But if I click on my name, there is a line to Hamilton. And you can see when you point to the line Y, it says a fan of Hamilton. And there's a faint line going back to my name to indicate something's missing. If I do Command D on my name, I can see there's a sentence, a fan of Hamilton, and that's what made that line appear. It can be really complicated, but when you export and you open it up, when you now do Command F, it shows the glossary definition at the top of the screen. If we do it for PDF, which has other glossary terms in its definition, you can keep clicking on those because they're in bold to jump through the document. I think this shows better what some of the benefits of visual meta are. And then I show the beginning of the actual visual meta I used, and I show that Pilcrow or paragraph sign has been used so that we don't have too much space being wasted. I will also show we have this automatic timeline system and benefits. Here we'll go through the interactive ones on top, the interactions we just showed, the citing, computational text will be explained, and how servers can access it. Then there's two new writings, extensible data, such as custom fields can go in, and extensible media. It's not just for PDF. It can work on any documents, including doc. And we have implemented it in WordPress, and we are looking at extending it into AR and VR. And then finally, the foundation is that it's legacy safe and robust. I hope that makes sense. Obviously, please send any comments.